GM Farcaster. It is Friday. Happy Friday, January 10th. And you are here with Nounish Prof and Adrienne for 29 minutes of Farcaster news plus an interview with Chaskin from the Ethereum Foundation. And Adrienne, today is a big day. It is our 200th episode.
Yay, happy 200 to us.
And behind me is episode 100 to kind of celebrate. We were just saying that this feels a little anticlimactic from our 100th episode. So, I mean, our 100th episode, we were at FarCon. We had Dan and Varun. We had mugs. Today,
we have in person. But also, I remember when we were starting to plan 100, because we knew we were like, we're going to plan it around FarCon. So it was probably a good 2 months beforehand. We started kind of plotting, maybe 3 months. And it definitely felt like a big deal because wasn't sure we were going to make it to 100. Definitely not when we started this silly experiment. And by now it's like of 200, it's like, of course we were going to make it to 200. And we'll get to 300 and it just feels like Friday.
Yeah, it's just Friday. It's just going to be a Friday. That's it. We've done, this is a good point. Our 100th episode was also on a Friday. Just keep that in mind. Now it's going to be a thing. We're going to need things on Fridays. I don't know. Just, I don't make the rules. Literally make the rules.
That's not a step.
Literally make the rules. And behind you is this beautiful photo. So you were off skiing and having a blast. And how is your ankle?
For those that don't remember, my ankle got run over by a car in September. It was not a serious injury apparently, but it's been bothering me. And I was really nervous to get on skis because I've been active, but it's still bothering me. So on day one was very painful. It really bothered me. And I was kind of depressed that my ski season would be ruined.
Yeah.
And guess what? Day two was better. And then somehow day three, it was I couldn't even feel it at all. So maybe what I needed was to actually
use it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
But
I'm surprised that it went in that direction. That's great. That's really good. So I'm glad to hear that because I was worried that your whole entire trip was going to be for naught. But I'm glad that it was going well. And I forgot to tweet this. So let me shoot this out and let everybody know we're live. And also, meanwhile, also NX, this happened. So if you miss this, so just so everybody knows, we're not going to put the audio on, but you can just see. So Jesse had promised that he was going to shave his head. He promised specifically the base god community, to be specific, that he would shave his head if we hit 10 billion TVL. And it hit that number a couple months ago, and while they were traveling, and I think he just wanted to make this a bit of a more of an event rather than have it be sort of rolled into what they were already doing. Either that or he just wanted to keep his hair for the holidays, which also could have been a thing. The wife could have been like, please, after the holidays, darling. That could have been it as well. So he did finally shave his head. So Jesse is now bald. If we get to the end of this video, you'll see he's bald. So, and this stream was challenging. There you go. The stream was challenging. He had to restart it 3 times, but once it got going, it was pretty good. So, really funny that he actually did it. So amazing. Appreciate Jesse. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. Frank, he looks great bald, by the way.
He looks great.
Fantastic. I mean, him and Brian are going to be just unstoppable. The unstoppable bald boys. I mean, let's go. Bald is based. Bald is based. Let me stop that. Because we can hear it and you guys can't. So this was from DeWoofy yesterday. I would like all of you to go and please press no. This was DeWoofy saying, should I challenge Nounish Prof to Words, the game on Farcade? And if you were watching the other day, please don't. Just don't. Please don't
We'll
challenge me to work. I don't want to play. I'm actually asking for a forfeit button to be added to the game so that I can get out.
Yeah. You're Streisand affecting this, and everybody will be challenging you to words.
I know, but it doesn't mean I'm going to accept the challenge. So there's that. I've warned you. I've warned you.
Shout out Farcade, by the way. Just
yeah.
You taught me about what is it? Geo Crush? Is that the name?
Geo Crush.
Geo
Yes.
Crush. You taught me about the Surge.
Yes.
And
it's everything.
Thank you for that. Yes, yeah. I now
you
understand
cannot
how
play
to
that
the
game with any success without using Surge. Surge is key. So those are the little lightning bolts. Get your lightning bolts ready.
Yeah, because I was away, so I listened to GM Farcaster and I learned valuable things.
It's pretty good. It's a good show. Yeah. I'd recommend it. They've been around. I don't know if you know. They've been around for 200 episodes.
200.
Yeah, it's amazing. So definitely, you should definitely listen to GM Farcaster when you're on vacation. This from Dan DWR, new for Frames V2 view profile. Frames can now open a native within Warpcast modal with Farcaster profile information, followers, mutuals, and ability to follow, unfollow. Try it out in the Warpcast rewards frame. So you can click within the frame and you'll be able to get the different information about the profile of the person. So very cool. Nice little ad this week. And this from Matthew Fox. This has been coming for a bit. And he did have the pre-save where you could save this frame, like right when Frames V2 launched. But he just launched the actual Clankermon app, yesterday. And it is, this is from Matthew Fox. Clankermon is an on-chain meta trading game built on a behavior you already do every day. Trade, not everybody. He's not talking to you, Adrienne. Chapter 0, Trader in Training, is about to get started. So you can go check this out. There's some bugs that he's working through. But it's very cool. It's kind of this idea around you're growing your Pokemon kind of thing, but it's a Clankermon, and it involves your I guess creating and upping it as you buy different Clanker tokens. So very fun, really cute. There's a professor. This is Professor Proxy, which I just think is hilarious. So Professor Proxy is the one who's greeting you, and then you download different things. And I only got a little bit into it and I hit a bug. So I have to go try to find some time today to really dive in. But how fun. Like what?
Looks so fun.
So fun. Like what a fun approach to let's approach trading as a game. And that to me is a lot more fun way to look at it. So, and hopefully it'll be a lot less painful when you lose money, because you'll have a cute little whatever. I don't know. A cute little Clankermon to keep you to wipe your tears. So very fun. Love this, Matthew Fox. Looking forward to diving in more over the weekend. So yeah. If anyone's playing Clankermon already and you have any thoughts, drop them in the chat. I'd love to hear. This from Drew Kaufman. I thought this was super helpful. Really, just watching all the images coming out of LA is just devastating. And we have a lot of Farcasters in that area, including the Merkle headquarters. So it's really kind of frightening. This was from Drew Kaufman. I lost my house in a wildfire a few years ago. Some recs for those evacuating. Grab your dirty clothes hamper. It's what you wear most. That was a really good idea. I never would have thought of that. Easy thing you can just pull. Sentimental items are definitely more important than valuable ones. You will forget things. That's okay. You'll get through this. And I just thought that was a beautiful sentiment. And I hadn't thought about the clothes hamper thing. It's very smart. I'll have to remember that for future hurricane moments. But really good idea. And thinking of you, thinking of everybody who's out there, it's just really kind of scary. So
it's beyond. I'm like total gutted.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah. It's really hard to watch. And I can't even imagine being there. It looks like a literal disaster movie. Like
I have
worse than anything.
a lot of
If you wrote,
friends and family, and it's like just here. It's brutal. It's
brutal.
just you can't even.
No. And looking at, honestly, it's just like, if you wrote this as a movie, it would seem like it wasn't real. Like, I mean, it would seem like, I don't think we can greenlight this. It's too unrealistic. I mean, it's so crazy. So just sending lots of love and stay safe, everybody. And if whatever we can do, let us know. Which I know is nothing, but we're sending, our good vibes. In funny news, oh, Brian, how it's going, how versus how it started. This is Dan kind of poking at Brian when he had said a while back that he was getting much better on Twitter, and he famously left Farcaster and he was going to go be a big star on Twitter. And then yesterday, my Twitter account just got suspended. Does anyone have any Twitter contacts? And this was Dan's response.
I thought this was a joke. Speaking of like
real.
can't script a better narrative. What?
No, it's real. It is very, very real. This was from Basil. Brian said, I'm back on Farcaster now. Where's my free money? And it's Basil said, Brian heard I was causing problems on Farcaster and came back to defend the throne. The throne of being the troublemaker is what he's referring to. And I'm just here to promote. He said, I like what you're doing. I'm just here to promote my new show. Maybe that's why he got suspended on purpose. Who knows?
Oh, conspiracy theory.
I wouldn't put it past him. I really wouldn't.
He did not.
Probably not. Probably not.
He needs Twitter now. He
does. This was really funny, and I'll let you all go and read it because it's long, but he's Brian basically talking about how Dan is his dad. And his crypto
unironically, Dan is his father. And goes through like this is how he treated me through like early childhood and adolescence, teenage years, adulthood. By the way, like you speed ran life.
Ran.
And like
speed ran it.
Like, and are we claiming that Brian is in mature adult life?
I think that is a way big of a leap. Way too big. I think not.
Read Dan's reply.
I love the prodigal son has returned. Difference in beliefs are still there. Solana better, but growing as adult. Respect goes deep. Dad is angry and disappointed. Clarification. I was never angry. Maybe a bit disappointed. Classic dad. So apparently, as part of this, even though Dan was kind of ribbing him about getting suspended on Twitter, he also was trying to reach out to his contacts and help fix it. So
yeah,
there you go. But I just enjoyed the whole thing. It was quite funny. And I think it's January 20th that they're launching their next show on Twitter, on Unlonely, I should say, but using Twitter as the main platform to share it. Lamb Chop had posted that she's going to be one of the contestants, sort of repping Farcaster. And then this happened. So, it's kind of honestly perfect. It's pretty perfect. So there you go. Thanks, Brian, for the entertainment per usual.
Oh, good segue into this next cast.
Yeah. So, Garrett, what? So this was in response. Let me step back to Dan's original cast first, and then we'll get to Garrett's comment here. Dan had said he had asked for, and sorry, this is long. I didn't realize how far down it was. Oops, I think I lost it. This is never mind. This is something different. So Dan had said, we haven't figured out a repeatable value prop. For some people, it's the people that doesn't scale. For some people, it's make money. That's not consistent enough for every user. And then this went to this. What do you think Farcaster's main value prop is? Here's my take, but I think it could be refined. You should use Farcaster if you want a social network with a wallet attached to your account that makes it easy to transact with people and applications in an open and permissionless manner. And then TLDR had a little bit more to add here. Farcaster is a social network where people can build absolutely anything directly into a social feed. Every user has one tap wallet that can make one tap transactions right when they see something interesting. It's where you'll find the most cutting edge experiments with tech like AI agents and community tokens. Kind of love that. Adrienne, what do you think Farcaster's value prop is?
It is when you get deplatformed on Twitter, you can just hop over to something and like a Supercast or Recaster or an alternative client, and all your followers are there and they can see it, because apps will get things wrong and you can port your followers with you. I say this as someone who like doesn't expect to ever get deplatformed, but it's really important. Like for me, like the ability to take control away from corporate platforms, like the corporations, and give more control and power to the user of social media. As we know, users are the ones who've created all of the value and content of these platforms, but we do not get to share in the upside. The platforms have all the control, and I don't like that.
Yeah. So I think, Brian getting suspended on Twitter is a perfect example of one of the biggest value props for Farcaster, is that even if you get deplatformed from Warpcast, you could still use Supercast. You can use Recast. You can use other platforms, other clients to still access the main protocol without losing any of your social graph. So yeah, that is important. I do see Chaskin is here. We're going to jump through a couple other quick things and then bring him on up. So just a few more things. This from Proxy Studio. Okay, Airbnb is booked. Clanker team is excited to announce we're hosting some of our favorite ecosystem founders. We love you all. At Clanker HQ tomorrow through the 15th. Shout out community support Madman, who heard a QLIQK. I don't know how to pronounce that. Who heard a rumor that NT was touching down to shift Clank Fun and Clanker for a couple days. Now we get to build with Derek of Native Fun and carc.eth, longtime Proxy Studio sub, shipping around collective consciousness with Degenos. We might get to meet the god Rish, who has been enormously helpful on the back end with Nadar. This came together fast. So this looks very cool, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it, because I think getting those folks in a room together is going to be really, really fun. So that's very cool. This is funny. Sorry.
If you're involved in Clanker and you didn't get an invite, it's not your worth.
I forgot about that part.
There's a lot. If you feel offended,
it's not your worth.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's not your worth. This came together fast, and there will be more. This from Kojo. Sometimes I think about the metrics the Merkle team can see and get a little embarrassed. How many times should an active user open Warpcast every day? Any idea? This was my guess.
obviously.
20 to 50, obviously.
If you're not opening it, yeah, and I was looking for a greater than 50.
Yeah. I don't even understand the question. Like, why are we even asking? Obviously, it's
Kojo is funny because it does feel like, wait, this is embarrassing if you knew how much I just pick up my phone and reflexively open Warpcast. But then I was reminded that, like, I use Warpcast way less than Elon has ever used Twitter, and he's able to send people to Mars and create electric cars and reinvent solar, and like, okay. So
it's okay. It's what you're saying. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. A couple other quick things. This from Humpty. Big news for creators on Farcasters. CryptoSapiens is launching its channel token this Thursday, powered by OpenRank. Rewards for engagement over the past 60 days. Algorithmic fairness to boost quality contributions. 3-year vesting for sustainability. Join the CryptoSapiens channel on Farcaster and start casting today, and share the top content you've created on-chain and earn rewards. So very cool new way to approach the idea around channel tokens. This is a new thing that's launching from, I forget the dev's name, but it is very cool, and looking forward to seeing what CryptoSapiens does. This from Jack Wild. Go watch this. It's funny. We don't have time to show you, but it's hilarious. And basically, his theory is that all the clankers have mustaches. And he goes through them all, and it's pretty funny. So go give this a watch. It's hilarious. And Jack is just a really good creator. This from Woj. Very soon, we will cancel all recurring subscriptions to Super. We'll take a short-term revenue hit, but I'm confident it is the right way forward. So he goes into, they're getting rid of subscriptions. They're going to have a free tier and a paid tier. The paid tier will have some more benefits, but you'll pay, I think, like a one-time or an annual kind of thing rather than a monthly recurring subscription. So very interesting. We'll see how this works out. And lastly, from Privy, introducing invisible captchas. Interesting. Okay.
I had to Google invisible captcha.
I'm not sure what that is. At Privy, we solve complex issues so developers can scale their apps confidently. Bots are a common issue, and now our new self-serve captcha feature automatically and invisibly detects them with no friction to real users. Try it out from your settings at dashboard.privy.io. So very cool. So what did you learn from Googling invisible captchas?
So I was like, that sounds cool, but what the fuck is an invisible captcha? Like, is it mind reading? No, it's actually not a captcha. Are you a bot or a human verification? Just think, they're pulling all sorts of other signals based on from your computer. If you're a developer in the, user authentication authorization space, this is apparently a thing now. There's tons of providers that are doing it, Google included. And this is all happening in the background. Reminds me a little of Social Capital Score on Farcaster. It's like, you can't do that, because I did see some people on Reddit complaining like, hey, I tried to do something and I got a message like your captcha score wasn't high enough. So
that's a great way to think about it. That really helps frame it better for me when you said your social score, like why call it captcha? I think that's what's throwing me off, Links. I think
I had the same idea.
Like
it's like we should call it something else, because captcha to me is like that fun little game you get to play before you.
Fun? Okay. Fun. I could swear that was a bike. Why didn't it work? Yeah. A lot of fun.
In other news, AI is so good at recognizing traffic lights, and I don't know why.
There you go. All right, let's bring up, we're going to bring up a Chaskin from the Ethereum Foundation. Good morning, Chaskin. It is great to have you here. Oh my God, I love that background. The ticker is
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
Happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here. I'm a little bit of an ETH maxi, so there we go. I love that background. It's great. Adrienne, I'm going to turn it over to you to start us off.
Yeah. I was just, Chaskin, is this part of like the Ethereum Foundation said we need to be bull posting more? Go on a media tour, and then Jason's like, "Hey, I'm coming on GF."
The ticker is ETH.
I saw you guys had fun backgrounds, so then I really quickly, when I joined, I'm like, okay, do I have anything fun that I can put as my background? And I had this saved on my desktop. I'm like, all right, this will work.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I love it.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. So Chaskin, good to finally get you on. I know we've been chatting about it for a while. I think just to kind of get started, do you want to just kind of we're all on Farcaster. I think everyone here is pretty like Ethereum aligned, but not necessarily like super in core Ethereum news following. You want to just do like the quick TLDR, what is Ethereum Foundation? And I'm also kind of curious how you got involved.
Yeah, of course.
What your story is.
Yep. So Ethereum Foundation was created when Ethereum was first launched, like the blockchain itself, and a portion of the ETH tokens, it was, I think, around 12%, went to the foundation that exists today. Now this foundation exists to like provide R&D and kind of fill in the cracks that otherwise kind of wouldn't be able to get funding if the foundation didn't exist. Because one cool thing about blockchains that is like very underrated is the fact that they have a way to print these tokens for like Bitcoin, ETH, and then those tokens can pay for its own security. And like that's awesome. Like we created these systems where like it's fair and they can like just pay for its own security and nobody really questions. It's like a great system. But they don't really have a same way to pay for like the R&D of improving the blockchain. And so that's why something like the foundation exists. And yeah, and so there's like multiple different teams at the EF. There's like DevCon just happened, and there's a DevCon team that puts on events like DevCon and DevConnect. There's various research team that research into like cryptography, maybe like consensus, like research just in general, like how can we make the blockchain more scalable? How can we improve UX? There's more like eco dev teams that try to reach out into the ecosystem and see like where there's gaps that the EF can maybe help fill. There's the ecosystem support team that gives out grants. There's like a more DevRel type team that does like the build guild that helps people like learn Ethereum from like developer standpoint. So there's all these different teams that don't necessarily overlap, but all like serve the broader mission of like helping Ethereum be this public good that lasts forever. And my intro to the Ethereum Foundation, I think you guys will enjoy. So I've been in the Ethereum ecosystem now for about 2 years, but the first year I was kind of posting, I spent it just learning about how Ethereum works because I like really enjoyed it. And I also thought that there's like a gap in people like trying to like explain things simply. And so I was posting on Twitter at the time, but I didn't have a following, and it's really hard to like get in with the in crowd on crypto Twitter. And that's when I found out about Farcaster. And I joined I messaged Dan and he told me that he would add me, but then he never did. And then I messaged him again.
What year was this?
Must have been 2022.
Yeah, it must have been 2022 or early 2023. And then he finally did, and I posted a couple times, and I still didn't really like get any traction there, and I didn't like find my community there. But the second that channels were added and there was an Ethereum channel, I finally found like a place where I can like reach people that were also interested in the same thing that I am, and they didn't care that that I didn't have like 10,000 followers on Twitter or whatever. They just like found my post really valuable because I was just like posting threads about like upgrades that were happening. And so I was doing that, and I was writing about Ethereum. And then now my boss today posted in the jobs channel saying that he's looking for somebody to work with him at the Ethereum Foundation. And so I sent him a DM on and he posted on Farcaster, yeah. And I posted, cool. And then I sent him a DM, and and I ended up getting that job. And now I've been at the EF for about a year.
I love when people find jobs and co-founders and things like that on Farcaster, and it happens a lot. Speaking of value propositions, Farcaster, I love that. I absolutely love it. So you were just kind of posting because you're passionate about Ethereum and just sharing what was going on, and then it led to this is amazing. I love that.
Yep.
And I think it shows. And again, although we're proof of stake now, it's proof of work. Right. And that's the other thing we always talk about is, Farcaster requires proof of work, but so does, if you're looking for a job, that's the best way to find somebody who is going to be a good fit is somebody who's already doing the thing and they love doing it just for the passion. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it works well. Like,
classic.
I could say in the interview that like I love ETH and I talk about like Ethereum all the time, but he could just scroll through my Farcaster at the time and be like, okay, this person actually is talking about Ethereum all the time. Like he means what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. The talk, you walk the walk. Yeah. That's awesome.
That is classic Genius story.
Yes.
Right. Which is like you're showing up, you're able to kind of, it's because you're, aligned to something, an interest that everybody else is, start contributing, and now you have a job.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
By the way, Lynx, we do love this story, and I'm bringing this up because Lynx was trolling earlier, asking if this was a marketing interview, and we don't do that. We only bring up interesting people on Farcaster. Yeah.
No, this is a heartwarming story.
Yeah. I said,
I don't even know, what does he mean by interesting Farcaster marketing interviews. For ETH?
Yeah, marketing ETH. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I didn't do a good job then by making this my background to play into that narrative.
Yeah, that's funny. So I do
your-
have one quick question because you
I
mentioned
have a
like
question.
Ethereum Foundation does DevCon, DevConnect. Do they also do ETH Global, or is that a separate organization?
No, that's a separate organization.
Okay. I wasn't sure, like, I know like ETH Denver is a private thing. I'm just trying to, I was trying to figure out like where they fit into all of the different events and conferences and things like that, and what's like official and what's not. So thank you.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Go ahead, Adrienne. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, Chaskin, I just was curious your background, and I know your angle is explaining, right? How do you kind of explain complex topics to people, to a broader audience in simple terms? Is your background do you have a writing background, dev background, politics,
Yes.
philosophy? Where are you coming from?
So I'm actually coming from finance. In a past life, I actually used to be doing banking. But now I left that all aside. And I spent when I quit my job, I spent the first year just kind of learning how to code and how like basics of how computers work, because I started to get interested in mostly like Ethereum and the crypto ecosystem. And I'm like, okay, step one, let's like figure out how computers and Web2 stuff work. And then I spent like the next year learning how Ethereum works. So I almost consider that finance life a past life because I don't use too much of what I used to do back then.
Love it.
That's really interesting.
He's bankless now. Not to be
it's
confused.
Actually kind of eye-opening to see like how things work in the banking industry, and then to come to this side of the things where in the past, like, so I don't know if you've seen this meme before, but it's like the entire financial system is held up by like interns just making PowerPoints and spreadsheets. And like, that's what I was doing. Yeah. As like an investment banking analyst. And it's like, unfortunately somewhat true. And then you look at this world and it's actually held up by like code and like people trying to coordinate things in a like trustless way. And I've never even considered looking back.
Awesome. I love that.
I'm pulling this up, something you wrote, a blog post about cypherpunks. I just read this morning. Excellent piece. Prof, did you get a chance to read it?
I did not get a chance to read it. I saw it very quickly and I was like, ooh, I got to dive into that because that looks interesting. Do you want to give us a quick TLDR on who even were the cypherpunks? I had looked at who they are before, like when I first like found Bitcoin and all that and just like exploring, but I would love to, if you want to give us a quick TLDR on this write-up, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. So first, I think one thing that's interesting about it is I also realized something similar where I was watching a DevCon presentation about there's someone and he read every single cypherpunk email and then he pulled out the most interesting ones. It's a great one. I highly recommend watching it. But and I thought I really somewhat knew who they were before watching that video. And then after watching it, I realized, wait, I really don't know much about the cypherpunks. Like, I'd really love to learn more. And so that's when I started digging in a bit more. And so who they were was, that's the top right there.
Oh, wow.
It's really great. But so the cypherpunks are these group of like hackers, mostly cryptographers. They're all like very, very technical groups of like around, and there's at the peak, there was only around 2,000 of them. And they had this email like list back in the 90s. And they saw like kind of similar to things that we've talked about in like the Ethereum ecosystem, but they saw like two paths as the internet was coming up. And this is pre like it really blowing up, where there's going to be like top down authoritarian control, kind of like 1984, and one where like cryptography can be a way to enable like mass amounts of freedom in the world, like to the likes like we haven't seen before. Yeah.
It's always within a hand's reach, an arm's reach. It's 1984.
And so they wanted to at least do their part in making sure that the world tried to steer more towards the direction of like massive amounts of freedom in the world. And so one like quote that really stuck with me was his name's Eric Hughes, and he was one of the founders of the email list. And he wrote what's called the Cypherpunk Manifesto. And in it, he says, something along the lines of, if nobody's going to write privacy, then we have to do it ourselves. And then the next line is like cypherpunks write code. So they were about like writing code. Yeah, that's that very first line. They were about like writing code, making things happen, and they were like willing to go to jail over like this cause, because they believed in the end like what they were doing is correct. And that's almost similar to what we're seeing in Ethereum, where so many people are like I don't care that like Gary has just been like blatantly doing like things that are unconstitutional for the past 4 years. Like, I'm gonna do this anyways. But they took it to extremes. So one thing that was cool about them was there was this case in the 90s where they were going after some of early like privacy code, and they were trying to make the argument that code is free speech, and the government was making the argument that cryptography code is actually like weapons code and can't be exported to other countries. And they're like, no, like this is insane. Code is free speech. So some of them were getting tattoos of the cryptography algorithms, and we're like,
Oh, wow.
okay, am I now not allowed to travel to another country? So like they were the walking the walk when it came to this stuff, and they ended up winning. And so now code is like free speech in our like legal framework. And so the technologies that they themselves built haven't had like lasting impacts. But I think like without them, there would be no like VPNs. There would be no like secure communication on the web. And so like they were really the ones that started that movement. And so I find their work like really inspiring.
Love it. I know that like Julian Assange was one of the cypherpunks. So just to give maybe a real world context to folks who may not know, like that, you know, WikiLeaks was part of that whole movement, as well as Bitcoin. So yeah, very cool. I have to dive into that. That's super interesting. I got some reading for the weekend.
And yeah, it was a great piece, Jason. And he also linked all the
yeah, I saw that.
kind of
that looks
documentaries.
amazing.
Now I'm like, great. Now I guess I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Yeah,
I have
diving
to go
in.
watch them all myself. I didn't know about PGP, pretty good privacy. That like I was in dev in the early 2000s, and that was like the first encryption algorithm we used, like to just. I think we were like encrypting passwords in a database or something with PGP back in the day.
Wow.
Had no idea that it was something that came from like that people were willing to go to jail for.
Yeah.
Like I just assume that like you just assume encryption was there and always, but
yeah, I think
so there was
good point. Shame that a large portion of crypto people forget about cypherpunk values. Yeah, we need to get back to. I think
I don't think it's forgotten.
Wrote something recently about that, not that long ago. We need to get back to cypherpunk values. So yeah, I think there's a movement towards getting sort of back to the roots. Yeah.
And it kind of makes sense, just because like it was started with cypherpunk values back now like 15 years ago. But now there's like, the truth is this ecosystem is like just has so much VC money and so much like people that only found out about it because of like Buttcoin or something. And so they don't even know about the cypherpunks at all. And like, I don't blame them. So that's why I wanted to write that blog post, because I didn't really know about the cypherpunks. So I'm sure other people didn't as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know in detail. So I just know like basics. So I definitely, I'll have to dive in. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Adrienne.
And I would just push back. It's like, I don't think people are forgetting the values. It's people don't know.
Yeah.
And that's
I think
why
some
I
just didn't know.
this, like writing the blog posts and sharing and talking about it here. Like Naomi, I know you know what cypherpunk values are.
So make sure you guys go give this a read.
But go
give that a read.
And one last thing I'll add to that too, just to come full circle, is that they had like two things that they really wanted to bring to the world that they thought would like add the maximum amount of freedom. One was like private communication online, and then the second was like a borderless currency. And so that second one is what led to Bitcoin. And now I think that like a borderless currency that like can't be shut down, like that's important. Like one of their lines was like, we build systems that are decentralized because they can't be shut down. And so I really think that like Ethereum is like keeping that dream alive of like being this like borderless currency that can't be shut down, because Bitcoin has pivoted to like digital rock, and the other alt1 currencies like don't really focus on the can't be shut down part. And so I think that ETH is like keeping that dream alive.
Yeah, for sure. Adrienne, what? I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, I'll say, well, just to plug it, everyone, cue it. I just said, cue it up for your weekend reading. It is good stuff, and share it. And it really spoke to me, just the cypherpunk values of like, I had written this down, now I can't remember what it was, but just the idea of like technology is where progress is, and kind of the need to fight for freedom and privacy.
It was above, if you scrolled up a bit.
Did I write?
Yeah, I think you included it in
I literally
cast.
included it in my cast. Okay. Meaningful progress doesn't come from lobbying or electing the right people. It comes from technological innovation and adoption. That's just been one of my kind of personal like drivers, I think, that's driven me too, which is really kind of using technology for good. And
also remembering that like, technology is agnostic too. You know, a lot of people want to, this is evil and this is good technology, and it doesn't work that way. Technology is agnostic. It's the people who use it in different ways. So,
and as I was reading it, it's just, I like to think I live my values, but like, would I go to jail? Right. And I could be like, yeah, I would. Like but would I? Like, am I leaving my kids to go to jail? And it's something to really think about. So I just probably not.
It's definitely a spectrum, to your credit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't necessarily need to go to jail, but you could still like live your values more than somebody that doesn't do anything at all and claims they have XYZ values.
I guess. But I was just feeling really grateful that there's people who do.
Yeah.
And it's so let's see. The other thing, I was just pulling up, this is something you shared the other day. It's a graph charting public chains, major public blockchains with their launch date. So you can kind of see when, and then their insider allocation. And we're seeing a little curve up and to the right, which just means, right, as you get newer and as you get more recent, the blockchains are doing more insider allocations. So I also had not seen this ever plotted before. It's really interesting.
Can you click on the chart itself again, just to give it bigger? Yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Yeah, that's well, and that's gonna. I don't think you'll see a chain, a new chain at least, not have big insider allocations anymore. Like, just because it just won't happen again.
We'll say one good thing on that end though was, and I'm not a fan of their design in other ways, but the L1 that's Hype. I don't know if it's like a really popular like trading platform. I think they actually did entirely fair launch, like
they did
airdrop.
I agree.
And that turned out really well. So hopefully that'll be a good trend compared to go against everything that's happening here.
I agree. And for those who may have missed it, that was the Hyperliquid and $hype launch. And they dropped it only to the people who were actually using that platform. And they didn't talk about it, right? They didn't promote it. Like, you didn't hear about it ahead of time. It was just like, it happened. And it was the actual users of the platform. So there wasn't this opportunity to farm, if you will. So yeah, I do agree that was a really good approach. I feel like they nailed it. And the fact that you could see the Cabal was so upset just proves that they nailed it perfectly.
Yeah, it's great.
Nailed it. Nailed it. A lot of people upset with you. You did great.
Especially when a lot of the people upset with you are VCs. It's like, you did something right.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like VCs, Cabal, the people who are used to getting the insider track, they missed out and they were upset, and good. But it was the actual people who were using the product and who were actually contributing. It was proof of work, again, it was like actually contributing to their ecosystem that they rewarded, which is great. I wasn't one of them, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I got a little JOMO on that. I loved the way that all went down. I think that was great. Look, I was gonna show this one. This is why there may be rewards for running a hub. Once again, links and all others. Just a reminder: there are no rewards for running hubs. I'm looking for if I have the
background
thing. There are not. You cannot. Not for running Farcaster hubs. Thank you. I couldn't find it. I was trying to find it really quickly. There are no rewards. Just a reminder. That's so funny.
This the whole rewards for running hubs meta is the best lesson in human psychology I have ever seen.
They won't believe it.
Maybe
they just won't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting from Naomi. I didn't know that. Unfortunately, Hype's validators mostly sit in AWS data centers in Tokyo, so decentralization is not their forte. I did not realize that. So
yeah, I agree. I was commenting solely on the token launch.
Yeah. I feel like they did their token launch well. Yeah.
Yeah. Chaskin, how's Ethereum doing these days in terms of kind of decentralization from a data center perspective? Like, where are validators sitting?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know?
I'm actually not sure. There's definitely been looks into that and studies into that, but I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Okay. Just because I obviously don't know, but I know in the past I've kind of heard criticism just about in general blockchains. It's like, okay, but everything's running within a certain
I think also the criticism was that a lot of the staking was happening by large pools like Lido, things like that, and less solo stakers. And that I think there's been some talk about feeling like there's less rewards for solo stakers now because of the L2s. So I think there's just some incentive realignment that might be needed to ensure that we have those solo stakers still, because I feel like that's the best way to decentralize in my mind, is to have more of those individual, but it's still not easy. It's not accessible for everybody because it still takes a significant amount of ETH that you have to have locked up in order to do it, and that kind of stuff. So that plus diminishing rewards, I think is gonna need to be sorted out, it seems like. But so but for now, but you can also stake in many ways. So
it is worth noting though, if you look at the stake distribution between Ethereum in proof of work and Ethereum in proof of stake, it's like night and day when it comes to decentralization. So it can be improved, and I think it will be improved over time, but it's worth giving some credit where credit is due. And it's gotten greatly more decentralized ever since proof of work. And even if you compare the decentralization of Ethereum to Bitcoin when it comes purely to staking and proof of work, Ethereum is light and day more decentralized in that category. So that is cool to see.
That's great. That's great to hear. So from Bitcoin perspective, you've got the large data mining centers, if you will, that are sort of got a hold on all that now. Whereas you used to have, it was just individuals. It was just like high school kids in their bedroom rigging up Bitcoin mining. And now that's not really happening anymore. It's more corporatized. So yeah, that's a good point. Ethereum definitely is better in that regard. So great point. Go ahead, Adrienne. I think you had something else there. You're ready to.
I did.
You forgot what it was.
I forget. Jason, I wanted to ask kind of about just crypto Twitter these days and Ethereum, and where are you? Are we getting enough Ethereum people on Farcaster?
I think we could do a lot better, and I think I'm included in somebody that should be doing a lot better in trying to get more Ethereum people on Farcaster, especially because you can have so much more productive conversations on Farcaster. It's literally night and day compared to crypto Twitter. It's just everybody trying to dunk on each other. I posted this really long tweet on crypto Twitter the other day, and then I reposted it on Farcaster, and then I was having a little bit of a positive back and forth, constructive talk with Zach. He's the guy founded Base Paint, and I think he works at Eigenlager now.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he's like, sorry for writing so much, and I'm like, no. This is where we can actually have a productive conversation. This is why I'm on slash Ethereum, so I can have these positive sound conversations. And so yeah, I think we can do a much better job of getting more people in the Ethereum community on Farcaster. Hopefully that'll change as crypto Twitter, it seems like toxicity just keeps going up and to the right. but we'll see. Who knows?
I know it's hard to get. I think the drama of crypto Twitter is hard to look away from. So like I don't go there for productive conversations. I go there for the entertainment, but not necessarily for productive conversations anymore. But it's still entertaining, and it's still where a lot of things are happening. But I would love to see, more of especially the big thinkers in Ethereum. Like we need you there. We need you over in Farcaster, just chatting and just talking about, how we can keep progressing. So come on over if you're watching.
Did you see Dan ask about kind of feedback on why he said he noticed an uptick in negativity on Warpcast or Farcaster, and he was asking for feedback. And my sense is like, I just think negativity has gone up in the world.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't actually feel related to Farcaster so much.
No, not at all.
But one thing I actually wanted to ask you guys about is, the Twitter algorithm is open source, and we know that they're like promoting content that kind of drives hate to the top.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're kind of like shining a big spotlight on the negativity in the world. But to Twitter's and Elon, honestly, because I think he was the one that did it after he bought it. To his credit, he at least open sourced it. So like we always kind of thought that, but now we actually can see it. And there was even somebody that he went like really viral in the Ethereum world as being kind of like a ETH is bad person. And then he actually openly admitted to being like, I was just kind of trying to rally people up. Like the algorithm's open source and I wanted to gain my following. And I actually respect him for being honest about that.
Wait, who said that?
And then
we're like, we don't respect that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
sorry. Okay. I thought we were sorry. And I thought you were talking about Elon talking. I'm like, when did Elon?
Oh, no. This was somebody previously in the
Ethereum
Ethereum
was
community.
like, right. It was just.
Now I think he's in a community that fits him better.
So he's now in Solana. Got it.
Yes. And but now let me flip this a little, because one thing that I've been kind of wrestling in my head, it's like, okay, we have this open protocol and that more aligns with like our values of kind of like create this internet that is more user owned. But the and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Warpcast algorithm is closed source, right?
Yes, it's not.
And
I don't think the algorithm itself is open, and that is as a spam protection. So for now,
I see.
But they're pretty open about talking about aspects of it. But the reason that it's not open is for that, is like to make sure that it can't be gamed for, negative purposes. So good point. Like as that was a great point about Twitter's algorithm. Yes, it's open, but now people know how to game it. So that's the issue.
But I'm wondering, is Warpcast doing a similar thing because it drives the most clicks, which is like why Twitter has it in the first place, where they're like shining the light on the most like controversial thing that like rallies you up the most? No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
And I just don't think there's enough content on Farcaster to even be there.
Yeah, no, I can't see that would be something they would encourage or try to highlight. It may happen, but more from the people perspective. Like things are going to trend. They might trend if it's negative. They might trend if it's, they trend for many reasons, but I don't think they're trying. How naive of us. Could be. We could be being naive here. Okay. Next time we have Dan on, a good question. Let's remember this so that we ask him directly next time we have him on. We'll ask him about the algorithm and if there's anything into that.
Yeah, I need to defend myself to links. I did not say they would not do it. I said, I don't think they are doing it now.
Yeah.
And going back to like, why do I want to spend time on Farcaster and why do I want to help will it into existence? Is because I want to, I believe in the don't be evil versus can't be evil mantra of kind of code and kind of the promise of open protocols and blockchain networks. So I don't think Dan is that evil right now. I put a lot of trust in him. I appreciate his vision and his execution and I'm here for it. Would I bet my life on any one person to never not be evil? Of course not. So
it happens.
I think we are so far. I think we're just years and years and years away from the point where where I think where Warpcast gets beyond evil, but I need to protect myself to say, okay, well, if Warpcast gets evil, I need to know and believe that I can spin up another client and and just have a group chat with Nounish Prof all day long on Farcaster that no one else needs to see. Yeah,
that would work.
I wonder if there's a middle ground here where, and I don't know how these like ranking algorithms work, but if they could only open source just like a part of it to be like, look, guys, we're like not just shining light on negativity, but they don't want to reveal like all the recipes in it. Like maybe that could work. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good, another good question that we can ask him about, and just kind of dive in, because I don't think we've never really dove into the algorithm for specifics, but mostly it's been more general of what we've seen when they've been asked that question as to why it's not open source. That's been the reason. So I think that would be interesting though. For sure.
There's just not enough content. Dan says all the time, like he follows he follows like 3,000 people, and he says he gets to the end of his feed every day, like multiple times. So I just don't think
not enough interesting content. We're going to put that on a mug someday. Yeah. So
you don't need to like actively push negative content, but that is still like
it's just going to happen. And I think this is a good point from Naomi about also when people feel threatened in their livelihoods, it's hard to be a nice person. And I guess more people feel that way these days. And I think that's probably true, just general life anxiety, reflecting everywhere. So it's not specific to Twitter either. But when you're amplifying those things, that's when people start to dive into the incentives of that. So show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome kind of thing. Thank you, Charlie Munger. It's every time, right? And if you're getting rewarded for posting hateful things or negative things, you're going to keep doing it. So, but Elon did say recently, which was hilarious, he'd like to see more positive content on his platform. Be the change.
Yeah, you're the one that controls the algorithm.
We're like, dude, that's up to you.
Did you see the meme he posted about the inside Elon? There are two wolves.
Yeah, I laughed at that.
Okay, one was like, be more positive.
Yeah, I mean
that there was like retard.
Then he told somebody to F off like right after, and people kept putting those two together. It was really funny. It was like more positive content. Fuck you, like, Elon. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. There's two wolves. There's definitely two wolves for sure. Let's feed the.
I'll become a bit full circle. It's a good thing that we have some like credibly neutral, decentralized things in the world that don't really need to like rely on like, I don't know, money and incentives and all that stuff.
Exactly. We're getting to the
Twitter,
top.
One final point on Twitter. Wait, one final point on Twitter, because we love Twitter.
We do love Twitter. I mean, a lot of you are watching on Twitter, and we appreciate you. We thank you.
And I think one of the things like Elon really has been doing just is pushing for transparency. And
which I do.
You can agree or disagree with his politics. I disagree with enough of it, but just pushing for more transparency is always good. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And that's great. And the only thing that I object to is this is me trusting Elon because he's got a track record that's what he believes in. But I still want to put my faith in code over humans.
Yeah, I agree.
And who knows, maybe in 3 years from now, somebody not Elon will take control of Twitter and we like don't agree with them on literally anything. And you just don't want someone where there's one person pulling all the levers.
Yeah. And to be clear, I disagree with a lot of Elon's politics, I should say, but I have a lot of faith in him as well. So whatever. Yeah. All right. What else? What did we miss?
I wanted to ask you, Chaskin, for those of us who are Ethereum maxis and love Ethereum, what can we be doing on our side to help you or to help the Ethereum Foundation get their message out, or just in general, like things you want us to be aware of or dive into?
Yeah. Well, first, I would say you guys are doing the right thing of claiming to like being the Ethereum maxis in an Ethereum ecosystem, and then using Ethereum products. Too many people will like claim to be Ethereum whatever, and then they just like haven't casted since 2 years ago or something,
Yeah.
and haven't like opened their MetaMask in 2 years or whatever your crypto wallet of choice. Um, so one thing is just like practice what you preach, and there's so many like products out there even beyond Farcaster. Like one I've been playing around with a lot that I've really enjoyed is called Fileverse, where
Ooh.
it's like a decentralized like Notion / Google Docs Slack competitor, or whatever you want to call it. And it's like a really good product, and it's really nice to know that like I actually own my files, and if like Google's data storage didn't get bombed tomorrow, like I would still have access to like all my stuff that I like really value. So I really enjoyed using that, and so um, that's one thing. And then I'm not sure. I mean, you guys
Meta David, we still like MetaMask. Stop. It's fine. Yes, we like all the other wallets too. Rainbow, Coinbase. Let's just mention them all just in case any of them want to sponsor. Magic Eden has
Rabby.
a wallet. Uniswap has a wallet. Rabby wallet. All the wallets. We like all
There's a
the wallets.
bazillion wallets.
I
When I
still
go to
use
connect my
MetaMask
wallet
as
these
my
days,
main wallet.
it's just
So yeah. Yeah. Just wanna, like no shade to any of the wallets. We love them all.
This is actually the biggest problem with MetaMask is as soon as you say it, and we have it in our
I know.
transcript, we're gonna get spammed, and
That doesn't
damn it.
happen as much
That
as
sucks.
it used to, and it never happens on Farcaster. You don't get, that used to be the biggest thing on Twitter. Like you'd mention MetaMask and you'd immediately have 17 replies, just looking to drain your wallet. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with that meta, just to make sure everybody knows. Shade to all
the wallets equally. We hate you all. It is that. Be consistent.
I guess I'll reverse that question for you now. What do you think that like people in the foundation could be doing more to help like you guys in the Farcaster community and broader community?
I don't know if there's anything off the top of my head. I do like that. I feel like there's been a little bit better communication. That's great. And, just keep doing what you're doing. I think that's super helpful, and getting on different podcasts. I think having regular communication like this, whether it's this one or Bankless or Unchained or wherever, and just regularly sort of updating and keeping us in the loop and that kind of thing, I think is super helpful. Adrienne, do you have anything else that
Similar
you can think of?
Yeah, I'd say similar, which is make it easier for us to follow what's happening in Ethereum. When I first got involved, I was just like, I was so hungry for information. So I actively seeked it. And maybe I could still do that today, except I don't have the same need for knowledge because it's like, I understand Ethereum and I kind of have this. So, and then what happens is then I don't follow and I don't actually know what's happening. So I don't really, this may or may not be the foundation's fault and it's likely mine, but how do I make it easier for me to stay up to date on and kind of what's important?
Yeah. I will say too that the website is fantastic and I use it. I direct a lot of people there when I teach my blockchain class. We spend a lot of time on that site. Great resources in the learn section. So for anybody who might be newer, point them to ethereum.org. It's a really great site.
I completely forgot, like, shout out. Who writes the Ethereum docs? That was like, I wrote a whole thing. I've never seen better docs. Like, and this goes back to, I haven't been there in a few years, but when I first kind of got in, they were so beautifully written. And I was like, I've never seen technical documentation as clear as the Ethereum. Was it Ethereum? Yeah, Ethereum.org.
Yeah, that's good. So Ethereum.org is a EF team, and yeah, they're awesome. And one thing that they do a great job of too is like everything on Ethereum.org is open source. If you want to like contribute to something, you can contribute, and if it's like a great job and like really like explain something well, like it'll get merged in. And so that could be a way if you want to get involved in Ethereum ecosystem. If anyone's listening, like maybe check out Ethereum.org and see if you can add something to the site.
Awesome. That's great. And I think for something that we've talked about is trying to do maybe roll in some Ethereum Foundation and Ethereum updates into the hub or our show where appropriate. Like this is sort of the
our
step
newsletter.
one. Yeah, for
Quarter-
newsletter, like figuring out ways that we can be sharing more around what's happening in the ecosystem and what's happening from those front lines. So that's definitely something we were thinking about as well.
Have you guys seen anything about the next upgrade, Pectra, that's coming in like Q1 or Q2?
It's coming this year. Is the next one?
Yeah, this year for sure. Sometime in the next couple months, and there's going to be one upgrade in particular that's going to be really exciting for users, where it'll turn your EOA into like having a lot of the same features as smart contract wallets.
Oh,
so you don't actually need to move to a smart contract wallet, but you can get the features like batching, sponsoring, like DCAing, like all that stuff. So that's really exciting.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Wow.
Bummed we
Okay,
didn't
so
get
we're
to
gonna
talk
need when that happens or when it's coming up, we're gonna need you to come back
I
and
would
talk
love to.
about
That'd
it.
be awesome.
We would love that.
I think we need like an EOA versus smart wallet panel
Smart
at Farcon.
contract, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so that's the beauty of it with
and-
this upgrade. The EOAs will gain almost all the same features as a smart contract wallet.
That's really cool.
It's
really cool.
Says the Ethereum guy, but there's people who are there's people who are religious about their smart contract wallets, and I'm really looking forward to a spicy panel that we didn't get last year at Farcon, but we did at Farcon 1, and I want to bring it back because people have opinions about wallets.
That's because we didn't do it. We didn't do a panel on DAOs last year.
Yeah.
That was the problem. You do a panel on DAOs, you get a spicy moment.
Yeah.
Period.
So
I don't care what it is, but you're gonna get spiciness. Very funny. Okay. We are Christopher Cookie got first chaskin. I'm not sure what that means. Is this regarding
the panel?
The wallets?
Is
the panels?
Christopher like his smart contract wallets, I guess.
Maybe he does. Oh, that's funny. DAOs are useless and I love them. Okay, we need to get this wrapped. We have some great turnout. Like Chaskin brought the viewers, so thank you.
I'll say it was mostly episode 200. I'm just happy to be tagging along.
You got to be special. So I don't know if you heard us talking in the beginning. That was episode 100 behind me. And so that was, we did at Farcon. So we do like to make our hundreds special. And then we actually launch into season 3 after this. So starting Monday. Adrienne, anything else that you want to tackle before we wrap today?
No, I think we covered it all. Chaskin, appreciate you spending time with us. A really great conversation. We got to do it again. The chat was on fire. Love you all.
You guys are amazing.
Are funny.
You are so funny. Always. And Chaskin, if you want to hang out a second, we're going to wrap, do our little closing. Yeah.
And then
Links is here for Chaskin.
But Naomi's here for us.
Naomi's here for us, regardless of guest. And
inside our audience, there are 2 wolves.
One is Links and one is Naomi. Pick your side. Pick your wolf battle. And again, thank you for 200 episodes. Hard to believe. Incredible. We made it. We'll be back on Monday at our regular 8:30 time with the first episode. It'll be episode 201, but it'll be the first episode of season 3. We're going to make a few little changes, little upgrades. And we're excited about that. So with that, Chaskin, anything else as we wrap up here today?
Yeah, just one last thing. If anybody ever has any questions about Ethereum regarding literally anything, I genuinely love talking about Ethereum. So feel free to reach out, Farcaster, whenever.
Just tag you, DC you, whatever, and
all the above,
and have at it. Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here. We love having you here, and it's been great to chat. And we look forward to having you back when we have some Ethereum news. Let's make sure we roll you back in so we stay up to date ourselves. Adrienne, anything else as we sign off episode 200?
That's it. Happy 200.
Happy 200, everybody. Happy Friday. and we will see you back on Monday. And with that, everyone, bye-bye.